Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, Hashem, YAHAWASHI, Hashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone. Shalom to mighty Akim, Wakim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this small captivity, as well as a speckled bird that may look like the other nation, but are actually Yasharallah. This is Brother Kawal coming at you with another lesson. Today's lesson, I want to go into apparently the self-exit rate has been increasing as of late, which I don't think. People might not have known that, but yeah, apparently it's been a big thing where, especially with all the grief and grievances that have been going on in general with how terrible life has gotten in Babylon. The thing is that people they're just giving up. They're just saying like, okay, well, I'm not gonna. This is just not worth the time, the effort, and all that stuff. I might as well just not do it. And the funny thing about this is that's what the scripture says. The scripture says, roughly paraphrasing, that death is better than a life filled with sickness and sorrow or something like that. I don't know. I think it's death is better than a bitter life or something like that. But yeah, that was basically the main thing where instead of like living a life where you're constantly suffering, you're constantly in pain and stuff like that, just basically, I should probably not talk too much about that because YouTube is probably going to take this video down, but as a result of that, but that's basically the thing where one thing to remember and to understand is that this is not necessarily. I'm not necessarily just saying, oh well, I'm just blaming it on the next person or blame it on Esau or blame it on this and the third. But Esau is absolutely a major contributing factor to that, simply because this society is literally set up to make people fail. It's set up in order to make us suffer. And the funny thing about that is that yes, the Edomites are also suffering as a result of it. It's not just us Israelites that are suffering as a result of it. It's both. All right, it's both the Edomites as well. They are paying the price for what their terrible rulership, or terrible leaders are doing. They're making all these different policies, decrees, and whatever that are meant to destroy your regular, average, everyday citizen. And a part of this is that we know is true is how the cost of living is increasing, but the people's wages is not increasing in the same amount. On top of that, what happened was last year, I believe it was last year. I think. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But in last year with DJT, he was just going on a rampage in destroying everything that basically destroying everything that people were relying on. There was that brief period of people not having food or people losing their food stamps. There was that the loss of Obamacare. Obamacare was taken away, and then you also have ICE. ICE was a big issue where even American citizens, they were saying that American citizens were getting harassed and attacked by ICE as a result of it. And all this stuff that's happening as a result, this is because of the leadership. So how is that just, you're just putting the blame on Esau and stuff like that? You're not taking accountability for something. Like, there's no taking accountability when they are actively participating in the destruction of other people's lives, of not just our lives, but their people's lives as well. So many people had Obamacare, and they lost that now. All right, and then there was that what's it called? I'm trying to forget. There was a food program. I forgot what it's called. I don't know what it's called, but there's a food program in America that they said it's for people that that don't have money to get groceries and whatever. This is for like people that want to get cheaper foods and or free food, all right? And what happened was that all the funding that was going into that was taken away to supply their war funds. So again, it's like it gets to a point where like how much more evidence do you need to see before you start seeing that we're not just talking. We're not just talking out our asses. There's literal proof. Esau's the one that's proving to you that he's the devil. Esau's the one that's showing you all of his desires, lusts, and all that stuff through the destruction of not just our people, but their people as well. All right. And the thing is, Proverbs 22, verse 9, Proverbs 29, verse 2, Slakia, it says, when the righteous are on authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. All right, roughly paraphrasing. Hopefully I got that right. But basically, when you have the wicked ruler, all right, what happens is that everyone's going to suffer. Everyone's going to complain and say like, oh, look at all this terribleness, all this horror that we're going through. All right, like we expected better, or Esau should be helping us out, making right laws and fixing stuff up. And the funny thing about that was that people were talking about how Esau DJT, he's this businessman, he's a smart, he's so this, that, and third, whatever, glazing him and all that stuff, just for him to go back on all his words, all his promises, and fuck people over worse than how they were before. So it's like, again, I know I repeat myself, but like, how much more evidence, how much more proof do you need to see for you to just come to a realization that Esau is the devil? All right, but of course, the truth doesn't matter, people, because Esau has put forth this lie. 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 11. I don't remember the exact wording, but it basically said, the Lord shall send them a strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Where even when people bring out evidence, and so many people have been bringing out evidence where it was Edomites that were bringing out evidence, Israelites as well, or maybe Edomite-looking Jakes, maybe, possibly, you never know. But there were so many people that were saying, like, look at what's going on, look at this, look at that, or whatever. And it's like no one actually cares about the facts. They still only care about, oh, Esau's the thing, we're in America, oh, we love Esau, we love this, that, and third, X, Y, Z. Like, there's never any accountability for that. And that's in Psalm 73, verse 5, where it says, they are not in trouble as other men. Now they only play like other men, where they are not under the same rules, standards, and guidelines as we are. So if a so-called black man robs a convenience store, he's going to get apparently 2 to 20 years, all right? And if an Edomite defrauds the government and steals billions of dollars, all right, then they get a smack on the wrist and a freaking house arrest in their nice-ass house. Shit. In their nice-ass houses. So, again, like, look at how unfair shit is for us, where we are going through being demonized, all right? We're being demonized, whereas Esau gets to just do whatever he wants and gets away with it, all right? It's like, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, all right? That's why so many people call it the injustice system, because there's not no justice. There's never any justice being brought, all right? It's only unfair injustice, all right? Injustice, all right? So, with that, there was one more precept I wanted to get. It was, Sirach 10, verse 3, basically, an unwise king destroyed his people, all right? And then Sirach 4, verse 27, where it says, roughly paraphrasing, I'm not saying it exactly, but basically what happened was that when you follow after someone just because they're mighty, then you're ignoring the fact that they're foolish. All right. So with that, brothers and sisters, I want to give all honor, glory, praise unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, the honor to the elders and apostles, great mills, son of all, shalom.